8, 9. EC 3. 1, 8. Things not to be loved. The Apostle John writes, "Do not be loving either the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Because everything in the world, the desire of the flesh and the desire of the eyes, and the showy display of one's means of life, does not originate with the Father, but originates with the world." 1 John 2. 15, 16. He says, later on, the whole world is lying in the power of the wicked one. 1 John 5. 19. Accordingly, those who love God hate every wicked way. PS 101. 3. 119. 104, 128. P 8. 13. 13. 5. While the Bible shows that a husband and wife should love each other and that this love includes the conjugal relationship, PR 5. 18, 19. 1 Co 7. 3-5, it points out the wrongness of the fleshly, worldly practice of sexual love toward another, not one's spouse. PR 7. 18, 19, 21-23. Another worldly thing is materialism, love of money. Phi middle dot la middle dot g middle dot rira, literally, fondness of silver. Int, which is a root of all sorts of injurious things. 1 T6. 10. Heb 13. 5. Jesus Christ warned against seeking glory from men. He scathingly denounced the hypocritical religious leaders of the Jews who liked to pray standing in the synagogues and on the corners of the broad ways to be visible to men, and who loved the prominent places at evening meals and the front seats in the synagogues. He pointed out that they had already received in full their reward, that which they loved and desired, namely, honor and glory from men. Therefore no reward at all was due them from God. Mount 6. 5. 23. 2, 5-7. Lu 11. 43. The record reads, "Many even of the rulers actually put faith in Jesus, but because of the Pharisees they would not confess him, in order not to be expelled from the synagogue. For they loved the glory of men more than even the glory of God." Joe 12. 42, 43. 5. 44. In speaking to his disciples, Jesus said, "He that is fond of phi middle dot line his soul destroys it, but he that hates his soul in this world will safeguard it for everlasting life." Joe 12. 23-25. A person who prefers to protect his life now rather than to be willing to lay down his life as a follower of Christ will lose out on everlasting life, but one who considers life in this world as secondary, and who loves Jehovah and Christ and their righteousness above everything else, will receive everlasting life. God hates liars, for they have no love of the truth. He declared to the Apostle John in vision, "Outside the holy city, New Jerusalem, are the dogs and those who practice spiritism and the fornicators and the murderers and the idolaters and everyone liking phi middle dot lon and carrying on a lie." Re 22. 15. 2th 10-12. One's love can cool off. Jesus Christ, in telling his disciples of the things ahead, indicated that the love of many who professed belief in God would cool off. Mount 24. 3:12. The Apostle Paul said that, as a feature of the critical times to come, men would become lovers of money. 2 T3. 1:2. It is evident, therefore, that a person can lose sight of right principles and that the proper love he once had can fade away. This emphasizes the importance of constant exercise and development of love by meditation on God's Word and by molding one's life according to His principles. F4. 15, 22-24. Love feasts. The Bible does not describe these love feasts, nor o texto e acute miritra longo, loving kindness 280, not the Lord's evening meal. There does not appear to be any basis for connecting such love feasts with the Lord's evening meal memorial, as some have done, saying that the love feasts took place either before or after the observance of the memorial. The Lord's evening meal is an anniversary taking place yearly on the same day, the 14th day of the lunar month Nisan, whereas the love feasts seem to have taken place often and not necessarily on a regular schedule. after condemning abuses that arose in connection with bringing their suppers to the place where the Lord's evening meal was to be celebrated, Paul wrote, "Certainly you have houses for eating and drinking, do you not? If anyone is hungry, let him eat at home." 1 Co 11. 22:34 This was an evening to be observed with seriousness and meditation on its significance, and not an occasion for eating and drinking at the meeting place. Neither are these love feasts the same as the taking of meals, breaking of bread, KJ mentioned at Acts 2. 42, 46. 20. 7. Bread in those times was usually made in thin cakes. Unleavened bread would be crisp as well. Bread was not cut, but broken, which gave rise to the phrase breaking bread, with reference oftentimes to the partaking of an ordinary meal. Act 2. 46, KJ, compare NW. Misused by some as a literal meal.